Okay, so where we left off last week, I got the cab primered, hood, front fenders primered, and then after I primered the hood and the front fenders, I waited a day, flipped them over, and then shot the underside flat black. Same as the frame, same as the front half of the front firewall. Everything underneath is flat black. I did learn some things last week when I primered these, the cab and the front fenders, is every place I touched with, skimmed with any body filler, shot super dry. And can't really see it. I mean, I'd show it to you. I don't know if you necessarily can see it if the glare of the light is correct. You can see the spots where I did the delete on the holes. But so when I did the hood, I was doing the hood last weekend, and I had two spots that I noticed. There's some more spots in it that I have to fix, but I saw two spots that I noticed. I skim coated those with body filler, and I wanted to kind of block them before I shot them with the primer. So I hit them with some, what is it, 2-in-1 buildable sandable primer. It's a rattle can type deal. This stuff. And then I blocked it and I sanded it just to see what it was gonna, show out and look like before I hit it with the actual mixed primer through the gun. And surprisingly, none of it showed up. I mean, the where I skim coated it, or this primer, or where I sanded it, anything else, couldn't even tell I was there. I probably should have shot the raw spots with that, and then it wouldn't have showed up really dry. The least that I have to do to get to the next step here on the cab, and the cab alone, is I started sanding on this just a little bit to see how it would look here, and just this one corner, this one side, just sanding the primer to see what it would look like. What I have to do to get to the next step, because I did say this in an earlier video. Apologies for just repeating myself. If you watch those videos, then we would be on the same. But only 2 people see these, so the 2 people that have seen them already know. So I'm just gonna say it again. So earlier I said that I got to take the primer out to here because it's the full color change from Easter egg blue to a like a vivid blue. What I have to do in order to start putting this thing back together, at bare minimum here with this cab right now, is, so I just needed it primered out to here, and then I can shoot the color from here, from the inside, all the inside out. And the front section of the cab, all the stuff that's going to start being covered, I need to get it to the finished color, the blue. So I don't have to have the entire cab blue. I don't have to have the entire cab ready for its final paint. The only thing I have to have ready for final paint is all of the interior out to here. And then when I put the doors on, then I can sand accordingly and shoot the doors. Now I will shoot the doors inside, primer them, and shoot them according to the color that it's going to be, so that when I put the doors on, that's going to be done, and then the outside I can go primer everything else and then work the whole outside of the truck at the same time. So the bare minimum I have to do today is I have to get this inside sanded, the second coat of primer on it, because the primer I'm using takes 24 hours to cure, and then this says 7 to 14 days before you reshoot. It's not a typical automotive primer to where you can just run with it. So I'm doing what I'm doing. So that's where I'm at. That's today. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. That's what we're doing today. So today we're going to scratch up all of this interior. That's where, and if you can see in this right here, how that body filler where I skimmed it is just soaked up that. And if I would have known better, I would have used that 2-in-1 build primer and checked it before, and it would have came out all this nice smooth gray, and you would have never seen like I did on, like I said earlier, I did it on the hood. But, and here's another problem a guy did. So let me get a flashlight and I'll show you. And it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Everything was going good. It was laying down smooth. I used a 1.7 millimeter tip. I mean, I know that's metric and it's not American units, but that's what they sell them in. So I don't pick and choose. The 2.0 tip that I bought, millimeters again, didn't fit the gun. I bought a gun off of one of the websites that had interchangeable tips, and that tip didn't fit. So I had to I went with the largest one because this stuff was thick as peanut butter. And I did reduce it. Back to what I was saying. Last week, painting, primering, everything was going good. And I was plugging along. I was painting the inside of the cab. Got to the cab roof on the overhead, and I drug the cup of the gun across it. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. Well, I don't know if I can show. There it is, yeah, all of that. I drug the gun across it, and you can see that line, it's not supposed to be here. This line here. Oh, right here. So that line, let me turn the light off so you can see it in the reflection. Okay, so this line is not supposed to be there, and I sprayed it on heavy trying to cover it up. And so I'm gonna have to get that out of there before I go any further, which I was planning on scratching it up one more time and put a second coat of primer on it anyway, so don't be that guy that kicks me in the shin over that. But again, I don't do this every day. Okay, so mistakes were made, things happened, and that's what happened. And I did it, and I didn't feel good about it. It didn't make me happy because you're in the middle of it. You want everything to go flawless. I didn't beat myself up over it. I was just like, hey, it happens. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna scratch up the inside of this cab really good and see if I can shoot another round of primer. Scratch it up, wipe it down with a quote unquote oil degreaser. I don't like the look of the inside of the hood necessarily because, again, there's some spots where I had to use a wire brush, a wire wheel, and it left some swirl marks in there. But it's the inside of a hood for my truck, not a show quality truck. I may go back and paint the inside of those orange. I could. How much work would that be? I don't know how much work it would be, but it would probably look pretty cool. But I'm not there. I'm not doing that yet. The only thing I have to do today is scratch up the inside of this. And so I have some blocks set up here and some sanding blocks, try to keep everything flat as possible. Then no, it doesn't matter inside of the hood, inside of the cab, it really doesn't matter. The only person that's gonna see this thing is me. So I got some Scotch-Brite. And now Scotch-Brite weighs in at probably 600 grit maybe. So I'll wipe everything else down with the Scotch-Brite and use it in the spots where I don't want to get after it real heavy with the sandpaper, the corners, the edges, stuff. I don't want to blow through and just start over from scratch. So I got some Scotch-Brite, I got some 120 grit, and hopefully that doesn't load up on me too fast. I just have to get everything scratched up again, reshoot it with primer, scratch it again, and then I can shoot blue. But from the inside of the cab to the outside of the firewall, this all has to be colored. All of this has to go color. And then up the pillars, and that's about it, really. I don't necessarily have to do the entirety of the whole cab, the scratch, just where it's gonna float over. Now, if I want to re-primer the whole cab, I can do that, but I'm just got to deal with the cab. I don't have to deal with the fenders. I don't have to deal with the hood. I don't have to jump and bounce around. I can just stay focused here. So, focus on the cab. Stop procrastinating. This guy. Get it sanded, scratched up, so I can reshoot primer on it, and then let it sit for the 14 or a week at best. And I can then probably, the next go around, I can shoot some color and you can see what the color's gonna be. Let's get started. Let's go. Better now than any other time. So just let me get set up and I'll take off on it and run with it. Let's go. Let's go. I could. Millimeters again. The two people that have seen a quart 14 minutes. Don't get me started on that debacle. Brain primer. That's what they sell them in. So it takes care of one of the problems, but not necessarily the other. What was that about? I don't even know what that was about. But don't kick me in the shins over it. So primering. I may go back and paint the inside of those orange. They're not cheap. 14 minutes of me talking to myself. Fine, it's not supposed to be here. Just don't be that guy. Just talking to myself, really. Mistakes were made. It didn't make me happy because I'm just going to shoot the color, and the color will be what the color will be. Dingus in the paint. Then you know. Then if you know, you know. And then when you know about that, then you have to. The things that make the things happen. Scratch it again. I don't know how much work it would be, but it would probably look, not you, me. I don't pick and choose. And it's just like, and I'm like, and then it's like, it's the, how much work would that be? In other news. Yeah, it's okay. I like it. There's that. Reshoot it with primer. They stick. Stay focused here. Focus. Not procrastinate. Like, that's where I'm at. That's where we're gonna go. I don't want to show it. Nobody's gonna see it. That's recording devices. I did. Oh, radically for this guy. Not the tool throws the air out the other end and it just. So you don't want to do bad things. Stop procrastinating. Okay. Better now than any other time. So doing what I'm doing. So 14 minutes